Welcome into On Texas Football. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Gerry Hamilton. We have a special guest today for State of the Program. That is former Pro Bowl quarterback Jeff Blake. Jeff Blake joining us, a longtime NFL vet as well. Some of you guys will remember him. Gerry, you and Jeff have talked off and on for a number of years during your career. Obviously, Jeff, after his playing career, started tutoring quarterbacks around the country. And Gerry, you've been involved with the Under Armour game for quite some time. This episode of On Texas Football brought to you by our friends over at Lowy Law Firm. Jeff, thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it very much.
Would you do us a favor and tell us what you're up to these days and what things are going on for you?
Well, I'm still developing quarterbacks, still working with quarterbacks. I still do a lot of work with the Under Armour camps and Under Armour game, and a lot with 3-step. So I'm heavily involved with that, especially in the grassroots, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy developing young quarterbacks and teaching them the proper ways of mechanics and fundamentals and how it all works, and actually learning how to play the game of football. You got a lot of guys that are just training kids, and I got nothing against them. Everybody has a way of doing things, but I try to take my 14-year career and my 12 years of coaching on top of that, and coaching at the top high school level in the country, and working with tons of grassroots kids, and collaborating with a lot of other QB trainers on coming up with the best efficient way to develop quarterbacks.
Gerry always speaks very highly of you. Gerry, I'll let you lead this discussion, man.
Yeah, so Jeff, I want to start with, before kind of what you look for, what you teach with guys from a mechanics standpoint, what do you look for from arm action and all that? I want to say, when you talk to a young quarterback for the first times, what are the things you're looking for to get from him in a conversation?
Well, I want to see where his head at, what's his philosophy on who he is as a quarterback. Because if we don't know who we are, how can we go out and develop and stay in our lane and master our craft if we don't know who we are? Everybody can't be Patrick Mahomes. Everybody can't be Lamar Jackson. And everybody can't be Jeff Blake. So tell me who you are as a quarterback. And now let's create a niche for ourselves so we can master that. We can separate ourselves from everybody else, because you got to have that thing that's different. So when that coach sees you, he goes, "Hey, I ain't never seen that before. Oh, I like that. This kid has something. What is it? I can't put my finger on. Oh, he has no wasted motion. Oh, he doesn't really pat the ball and beat it up. He doesn't drop it below his waist. He doesn't have a big circular motion. He has a really good base. He really uses his legs and drives through with his throws. He's very accurate. He has a tight, compact release. All of these type of things mechanically that make you more efficient as a quarterback and make you more accurate. Yeah, well, you have to change your arm angle certain times and be an athlete, of course. You see guys doing it all the time, but are you fundamentally sound in your mechanics? Can you get back to your base and make an accurate throw and drive the ball to your target? Those type of things are some of the things that I look for, and some of the things I talk to young quarterbacks about.
Hey, Jeff, you mentioned all of those things, and I think that it's interesting that you start off talking about differentiation. Essentially, what you're talking about is what makes you different, and then lean into that a little bit, right?
The thing that made me different was I was really good at throwing the deep ball, so I mastered that. That thing separated me from everybody else. So when you stepped on the field, or when anybody talked about me, that's the first thing they mentioned. That separated me from everybody else. That gave me my identity of who I was as a quarterback and what I was capable of doing. And if you weren't ready for it, you got exposed. So that's the type of thing. That's the type of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, what are you good at? Younger kids to understand that at an earlier age, so that they can then go out there and build on it over time and put it into college. Gerry, your thoughts?
Yeah. So from a mental aspect, Jeff, because I mean, look, you talk to hundreds of high school quarterbacks. You coach them in the Under Armour game, Under Armour camps, whatnot, and what you're doing these days as well. Well, from a mental standpoint, what is it that you try to get across to them about the position, about being a quarterback?
I think the biggest thing is to understand how offense works. So a lot of kids don't really understand how offensive concepts work, basic offensive concepts work versus every coverage. You should be able to take a basic concept against every coverage, and that concept will change, or that pass play or your read may change based just on the coverage. And you should be able to start eliminating guys based on coverage. Why would I even look at a deep post when I know I got a deep free safety down the middle of the field? He should be eliminated before I even snap the ball. Yep. So understanding your pre-snap, looking at all your keys pre-snap, all right, where if it's understand is middle field, open middle field closed, if I have man coverage or I have zone coverage, I'm looking at receivers, the DB's technique, see if they're giving it away, trying to see if safeties are capping my slot guys so I can see if anybody's coming. All right, understanding my protections. I have so many high school kids. I say, so tell me about your protections. Well, my coach told me don't worry about the protections. I have tons of high school kids tell me that. So they get to college, they don't even know protections. We teach that. Yep. I teach that. I teach that to all my quarterbacks. If you don't understand what a 3 technique is, a 5 technique, anything about defense, my first 3 weeks in the NFL, I didn't learn one offensive play. Not one offensive play my first 3 weeks. Only thing I learned was defense. And I asked Bruce Collins, are we going to learn any offense? He said, yeah, we're going to learn offense. But if you can't read defenses, you can't play for me.
Interesting. That's an interesting take. All right. You've also had some run-ins with KJ Lacey and Dia Bell, the 2 Texas Longhorns. But first, before we get to that, I want to say thank you real quick to our sponsor. That is Adam Lowy of the Lowy Law Firm. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind and think you might be due compensation, reach out to Adam and his firm for a free, no strings attached consultation. That is Adam Lowy over at the Lowy Law Firm. Reach out to him at lowylawfirm.com. Jeff, you've seen a lot of good quarterbacks in your days, I'm sure, with Under Armour and where you're at now, IMG, et cetera. What is it about Dia Bell and KJ Lacey that you've seen that you like, that you think they need to work on, et cetera?
Well, I had a really short stint with both. I was with KJ at the Under Armour All-Star game his senior year, and I felt like he had really good throwing motion. He's a very confident kid. He had the size, good arm strength. He had really good playmaking ability outside the pocket, and he can move in the pocket as well and still he threw a really nice deep ball as well. I thought he's very confident in his throws. He was mechanically sound. I feel like he could be a great addition to University of Texas. Same with Dia. I had opportunity to spend a little bit more time with Dia throughout the years. He's been coming to Under Armour camps for like the last 3 years, and he actually was here at IMG doing Future 50 with Under Armour just a year ago. He was injured last year when he played at American Heritage, so he didn't really get to play a lot last year. So I didn't really get to see him play a lot his senior year, which I probably would have, because I get to see a lot of those guys play in their film and stuff. So stuff for the way overtime and all those, put stuff on YouTube and stuff all the time. So you get the opportunity to at least see him play a little bit, not basically a whole game, but, get some clips of them and see how they actually doing. And so I know those are 2 great additions for University of Texas, and they will compete against each other and may the best man win, and I just hope these guys realize that in order to develop, sometimes you have to stay where you are and just fight it out. A lot of kids jump in the portal, and I can see, if you're 5th year senior, and you have another year, you get a chance to go make some money someplace and play at a different institution. I can see that. But if you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, go compete for the job. If you don't win it, come back again next year and try to get it again. Instead of this jump in the portal because I'm not the starter. Go compete for the starting job. You have guys that aren't 5-star guys that are out there competing and wind up getting the job. Yep. Hernandez, the kid from Ole Miss. Yep. These guys, they said, I'm just gonna go compete and see and let the chips fall where they may. So I think with those 2 competing against one another, I think they were gonna push one another. They're both highly ranked guys coming out of high school, and they both have great upsides. They both do. They're a different style players. Well, I think Lacey's a little bit more athletic. Dia's more of a pocket guy. He can run. So they got different sizes, so they're gonna have different strength. Again, what is it that separates them? I don't know. Do you know? Do they know? What is it as a coach that I'm gonna say, okay, this guy is really good at this. This guy's just kind of, but this guy stands out in this. So that's gonna be up to Sarkisian and his staff to, kind of evaluate those two and see which one comes to the forefront.
Let me ask. Let me ask you this real quick, Jeff. One of the things we've heard about KJ Lacey behind the scenes is that he moves the chains.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone says that to you as a former quarterback, what does that mean? Someone that moves the chain.
That means he's efficient and he takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't press. If he can throw the hitch, he's gonna throw the hitch. He understands situations. If it's 3rd and 2, I'm not throwing a 50-50 ball down the sideline. I'm gonna hit my slant. I'm gonna hit that shallow. I'm gonna hit that option route coming out the backfield because I know that linebacker can't hang with my back one-on-one. I understand my hots. I understand when I have to get rid of the ball quick. I only got to get 2 yards. So if they blitz me, where's my hot throw? Let me get it out quick. So my person I get it to can make somebody miss and get the first down for me instead of holding on to the ball and getting sacked or trying to scramble and getting sacked in the backfield. Understand your situations. And I think that's probably why they say that about him. That's probably what he's doing.
Hey, Jeff, obviously you haven't worked with Arch Manning. Arch didn't really go to camps or anything, but I know you watched him play some at Texas.
Yes,
what have you seen from Arch? What do you like about Arch as a quarterback that you've seen?
Well, over the years, I really seen him blossom in the way he would take over a game. And sometimes he doesn't start that way, but he'll finish that way. I want to see him start that way. I want to see him take over a game from the beginning. He'll get hot around the 3rd quarter, and all of a sudden he start running the ball. He start running people over. He'll take one for 60. I'm like, let's do that the 1st quarter. It takes him a while to get going. It's like, and he's a very confident kid. He's very confident in what he's doing. I think he knows what Sarkisian wants and knows what he wants to do. I think he'll, being this year, I think he'll be a lot better. Probably have more input in what's going on as a quarterback. Hey, I struggled with that last year. I don't want to do that this year. I want to do this. Can we do a little bit more of this, a little more of that? And I think as quarterbacks get older, they sing, especially either college or pro, the offensive coordinators and they tend to give those guys a little bit more input and what they like and what they don't like and what's their favorite play. Let's run that more. Let's get really good at this play. Let's not have 50 pass plays. Let's have 15 and let's get really good at 10, but just change the formations. But I'm still running the same stuff, but I'm still running flood. I'm still running curl flat concepts. I'm still running smash concepts, snag concepts, shallow process, mesh concepts, all the same stuff everybody been running for years. What I see a lot when I watch college football and pro football is that the spacing is bad in a lot of these pass concepts. You'll pause the film and you'll see 2 or 3 receivers in the same spot, and which is very hard for quarterbacks to make a read. So I'm not saying Texas is doing that, but I'm saying you'll see it a lot in college football. So it hurts college quarterbacks, and I see it a ton in the pros. If you watch the Super Bowl, you'll pause a play, and it's 2 receivers in the same spot. I see it all the time. And what's confusing me, I don't understand if the guy's messing up on the field or the offensive coordinators are designing these plays. When, to be honest with you, the old stuff still works.
Hey, so I want to ask you this, because you have been here at the college level and then the pro level. The difference in year 1 as a starter and year 2, where Arch is going to be last year versus where he's going to be this year. What is that difference? What was that difference for you?
I just understanding the offensive scheme, understanding exactly what was asked of me, and being able to go out and do it consistently. There's one thing, he did it one time, but can you do it over and over and over and over and over again? So consistency is key, understanding what makes you a great quarterback. A great quarterback is moving your team, being efficient with the offense, not turning the ball over, understanding situations, being able to lead your team not only vocally but actions on the field, and be consistent. 4 quarters. No, not just 2, not just the second half. Make those big runs on the second play of the game. Make that big throw. The second series. And I do like the fact he doesn't shy away from big football games, though.
Yeah,
for some reason, Texas shows up in that Red River shootout. For some reason, they show up, and if Texas will play like they play Oklahoma every week, they'll be undefeated. I don't know why they don't do it, but if they play against everybody like they play against Oklahoma, they'll win.
Yeah. You're speaking for a lot of fans on that one.
Yeah, you're speaking for fans on that. A lot of intensity in that game. I was going to ask you one final question for you, Jeff, and we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us here. Something that's come to light in the last 15 to 20 years, athleticism at the quarterback position. And I say this because I think it's always been true that athleticism is a premium at the quarterback position. But everybody used to talk about, can he make all the throws? Does he have the big arm? Is he accurate? All these other things. And it comes down more and more when you have guys like Jalen Hurts having success, right, in the NFL. Lamar Jackson. Yeah, they can throw the football, but they're superior athletes too. Athleticism at the quarterback position, Patrick Mahomes, not the fastest guy, hyper athletic though, right?
He's very elusive.
Yeah. So
very elusive.
What is it about that? Is it just the ability to have that few extra ticks, the athleticism to have a few extra ticks to let a route develop, let a receiver break free? What's the value proposition there that is so?
Again, it buys time. It buys you more time. It buys you more time. Gives you. Sometimes I see the way your quarterbacks move in the pocket. It's like I teach my quarterbacks to fight to stay in the pocket. We do various type of pocket movement drills to get back in the pocket, not just to run. When you're running to throw. And when you're moving to throw. When you take off and run, that's what you're doing. You're running. So it just buys more time. It gives your elite athletes opportunities because they only can cover for so long. And if you back there for 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds, somebody coming open. If you find the right guy, somebody coming open. So that's what the athleticism does. And if you need him to take off and run and get you the first down, that's what you need. You got a quarterback that can do that consistently. It gives defenses fits. A quarterback that can't do that, now they got to do is just rush their front four and then maybe bring 5 every once in a while, and they'll get to him because he's just gonna sit there and be a sitting duck. But a guy that's able to make people miss. I mean, your Josh Allen's very athletic, Patrick Mahomes, very elusive, Lamar Jackson. I think Jaden Daniels is very elusive, can run, can move around in the pocket. If he wouldn't have got hurt, I would think the Commanders would have had a lot better season as well if he wouldn't have got hurt. So that's where it's going. Kyler Murray, there's a bunch of kids out there, a bunch of guys out there that's very elusive. You don't have to be fast, just have to be elusive and still put yourself in a position to make the throw downfield and convert. And that's tough on defenses when you got a quarterback that can convert on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, and you got him in the right, you got him right in the eyesight, and all of a sudden he gets out of that thing and then make the throw and converts on 3rd down. It's demoralizing.
Hey, Jeff, and you said the word elusive. That's a word we've heard about KJ Lacey, Texas. Mm-hmm. Is elusive. And elusive in the pocket, like you said, just to go make plays, give the receivers time. I want to ask you this. What other sports did you play growing up? Did you play basketball?
I did for a little bit, but I was more of a baseball player.
Baseball. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense with the big right arm, Gerry.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I want to ask you about athletic instincts. Bill Walsh called it athletic instincts for quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. What is athletic instincts to you? And that's the last question I have for you. And thank you so much, because I think that is a trait that you have to find in quarterbacks on some level.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think instinctively as a quarterback, you have to understand how to create without forcing it. You have to be creative and without forcing it to come. Let the game come to you. You know, you just got to have that feeling where you're not pressing. It's just easy. It's just so easy. It's like taking candy from a baby. You know, it's just like when you see kids pressing and, you know, they trying to force balls in instead of just saying, you know, I'm just gonna let the game come to me and I'm just going to take what they give me. I'm going to do my footwork. I'm going to be on time with my throws. I see the middle field open. I'm going to attack it. If I got a route going to the middle field, I'm going to attack it. If not, I'm just going to take a nice little reset and just drop it to my back. I'm not going to force it down the field. Instead of saying, oh, I got that four vert. I ain't got that in the middle field. I'm going to try to force that whole shot when the back's wide open. You know what I'm saying? So you have kids try to, you know, and then all of a sudden the corner sinks back and picks it off because you're trying to force a whole shot when the back, he 5 yards sitting in front of you and got nobody around him. You could just dump it to him, you know? So just letting the game come to you, having that instinctively to where you're not pressing. You just, you know, like Neo in the Matrix and the bullets is just slowing down in front of you and you're just picking them out, you know?
That's what I'm getting at. Like everything moves slow around people that have athletic instincts. That's what I kind of think is things tend to move a little slower. Those people, Mahomes is that way. You can tell that it's like you said, it's kind of just the way he moves in the pocket, that kind of elusiveness in the pocket. But his feet never look rushed in those situations. That's to me is like the athletic instincts we're talking about.
They all.
He's not pressing. He's just.
It's just natural for him. That's part of it. Jeff Blake, former NFL quarterback for the Jets, Bengals, Saints, Ravens, Cardinals, Eagles, Bears. Boy, you must have had a lot of offensive coordinators through the years. Now he's working with IMG. Works with the IMG Academy. Works with Under Armour for their camps. Works for a lot of the nation's best high school quarterbacks. Clearly one of the standouts. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you, Jeff. You have anything you want to finish up with for us?
Man, just thank you guys for having me on. And I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy coaching. I really enjoy developing quarterbacks. I don't call myself a quarterback trainer. I call myself a quarterback developer. You know, I want to teach kids how to play the game, how to process, pre-snap, post-snap, how to read and then react to whatever they see. Those are the 4 things that I work on. And then another thing is, you know, understanding your spirit, who you are as a player, so you can create a niche for yourself, so you can separate yourself from everybody else, something that you can master and go get it and be creative with that.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jeff, very much for your time. Thanks again to our sponsor, Adam Lowy, over at the Lowy Law Firm as well. For Jeff Blake, Gerry Hamilton, as well as our producer, Matt Hutchinson, I'm Bobby Burton. That's been this week's Stay of the Program. Hook 'em.